first album I ever bought, Sean Paul, Dutty Rock. Hands down, fantastic album. Really shaped me.
Mine was Dido, White Flag. Very depressing album for a young boy, but it was a real time in my life that I remember.
The first album I ever bought of myself was System of a Down, Hypnotise. But the first album I was ever bought was 5 by 5.
Nice.
I think mine was some dubstep something or other. I can't remember what. Could have been Burial.
Everything's fine in the suburbs. They've needled up the grass where it meets the curb.
Yeah, well, like kind of vinyl releases is kind of something it wasn't much a conscious thing, but we just kept doing them, and now we've got like 5 different vinyl sort of, we got 7-inch, 12-inch and 10-inch releases.
All different colours.
The other day, you were going, when you were looking at, someone brought all of them to a show that they'd got, and they wanted them all signing, and we kind of forgot that we'd done them all, because we've sold out of a few of them now, so it was like, oh, I forgot we did that, oh, I forgot we did that one. It's just quite it's nice to have, isn't it? Like, people like having things.
And it sounds way better.
It
genuinely sounds better than like MP3. It's weird, but it does.
We'd rather spend the money on that than like CDs, because, I don't know.
More people probably have record players than CD players these days.
Nah,
probably do.
2019, who's listening to CDs? No.
Yeah.
I couldn't play one.
I don't know if I could, maybe on a laptop.
I can't. No, I can't.
I can.
Can you play a CD?
Nah, my laptop doesn't even have one.
See?
There you go.
Have you got a record player?
Yeah.
See?
Hey!
Point proven.
I can play a CD.
Shut up. Shut up, Kale.
Yeah, I think
He's a collector, proper.
Well, I used to, but I was really into a band called Peace, and the one of it was like this picture disc vinyl, which they brought out before the first EP. It was like Bloodshake single, and it was signed, and I remember like bidding for it. It was like signed by everyone, and I think I spent about 60 quid on it.
Wow.
I was buzzing at the time, like, yes, but now it doesn't really mean as much to me, but it's still a cool looking.
It does. All of them look nice. Actually.
But
I have Darude Sandstorm on vinyl, so that's pretty treasured for me.
Oh, I don't think I've got any like music memorabilia. I've got when I was 12, I went to see Eric Clapton, and I remember I used my pocket money and bought a program, and just read it for like non-stop for weeks, and yeah, that's pretty. But It's not really memorabilia. Is it memorabilia?
Yeah,
Is that memorabilia?
yes.
Yeah, right.
I don't think apart from like my parents' records that I used to listen to when I was growing up, like, no, there's nothing that I've acquired. I don't think. Maybe. Oh no, I tell a lie. I do have a.
Don't tell lies, bro.
I have an order of service, they called it, from when Bombay Bicycle Club did their acoustic tour in churches. So like they did like Salford Cathedral or something. And I went to it, and like when you go to church, they have like this is the hymns we'll sing, etc. So they did one of those, and it was quite cool. So that's somewhere in my house.
I think I lost it.
Probably have.
Well, we always say the film School of Rock was like legitimately a massive influence on us wanting to be in a band.
It was big when we were young, wasn't
it? It's not on it yet. It came out when we were like 10, and I think I'd just got up my guitar. So Zach Mooneyham from School of Rock was the guy.
Like we still quite commonly will just go over to each other and go, I used to play classical, but now I play rock. And
quote it for days.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that probably did have a massive influence on us. Although it's still music based, but like, it's weird that a film
a comedy film.
Yeah. Jack Black though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Legend.
You are fat loser and you have body odor.
Terrible impression.
I've got a secret, wanna hear it. I've got a way you can go.
I think it definitely does. So Friends was about when we were on tour, and then realised we hadn't seen our friends in ages, and you do kind of like made an effort. And now I do always try and make more of an effort when I'm back, or just if I'm free, or even if we've only got an hour on an evening, just go meet my friends or one of them, or just do what you can do. And so I guess that one did, because it's like What they were there at the gig the other day, and I remember I was kind of whilst singing it, saw them, and I was like, oh, what? And it was all a bit.
I think like
Matrix.
by the time you get round to writing a song about real life experience, you've mulled it over enough for you to probably like. If it's something that you should be stopping doing, you probably stop doing it by then. Or if it's something that you want to do, you're making a conscious effort towards it. Because like usually you've got to have like a fully formed version of whatever that is in order to write the song. So you're kind of in a place where I don't know. Like usually you start to make that change whilst writing the song or just before. But yeah, don't know. It's quite a cathartic process. You always feel kind of better after writing about a certain thing.
I was thinking as well, I know it's kind of said a lot, but it helps you understand situations, I think. Writing about it whilst going through it does, you kind of like put things into perspective a bit more, because when you write it down, you maybe don't overthink it as much, or it might kind of, I don't know, just, I find it helps you understand things better, which probably doesn't then impact on how you do it. About your drum parts.
My drum parts, when I write them, I never do that again in the future.
You do have no idea where.
I had no idea with it. Yeah. Yeah. Moving on.
Interesting way of looking at it. Like,
Oh, you gone.
I was just gonna say I feel like the album is you've got more room to manoeuvre. Like if you're putting a single out, people kind of expect you to not release music under the same formula, but it needs to kind of like tick a certain box within a certain amount of time. Like if it's gonna be a radio single, it's got to do certain things. Whereas like on a full length, I don't know, in the writing process, I think we found that we kind of let ourselves drift a little bit further.
Well, we always try and we hate doing the same thing twice. So we will always, if something's sounding a bit similar to something else, we'll always say to each other, or we'll make each other do different things, or so. I guess it kind of does, but I don't know if it does for everyone. But we're just very kind of no, we've done that. So kind of, I don't know. I don't really know what I'm trying to say. But
I was going to say it was the opposite, really. Like, there's probably more room to be experimental on an album. Well, because we've never released an album, we're quite excited about the freedom of having one curveball or two curveballs in the context of 10 or 11 songs. So it's kind of whereas singles, people are still thinking of singles like. Like we released a song called Wake Up Fred, like that's not a single because it was quite downbeat, but like it's only a single because you release it on its own.
Yeah.
It's not a single in the traditional sense of this is a single that's going to promote an album. It's just, the meaning of single I think is changing. I think.
I'm really
Case
looking forward
closed.
to track listing the album, because
I'm not.
you can kind of
The argument that will ensue.
well, yeah, but like you can. I know you. One I always think, what's Alt J's second album called?
Not Reduction.
Can't remember. No. Something. Anyway, whatever that's called. That album is it pretty much is a journey. As horrible as that word is.
Far out, man.
But like it's like it kind of structures it, and I like having that to an album. Like you kind of know whereabouts you are, and it's just a nice kind of. Like gives you more.
Yeah.
Although there's almost a template for an album, not really, but like the kind of your mid-album, chill out a bit.
Yeah, like the writing can inform that ebb and flow of the record, and you can't do that when you're just releasing a single. You can't be like, oh, well, it'd be nice to put a slower song here after that song. You just go, here's the song.
Although we did do that, but
The
that's
answer
back to
probably,
your
Alex,
point.
is that we have no idea.
We just do what we do, and if that happens, I'm like, oh, cool, that's worked.
After the fact, we intellectualise the point. That's what happens.
So we at rehearsal we always go out and make a cup of tea. Cale doesn't drink tea, and we came back in and he was playing the riff, like the opening riff, and then we came back in the room and I think we were almost packing down. So recorded Cale playing it, and then went home and was watching something, maybe illegally, And
Please elaborate on that before you. A movie.
a film,
A
yeah,
film.
like a film. I can't know, it was a sitcom at the time, and I can't remember what I was watching, but you could only get it through strange means. And I got the Brit method pop up that you'll be rich and all that, and I thought it was quite funny.
Wow.
Wow, look how much money I've made. I just thought I'd seen that so much. I was like, this guy, he's really taking people for a ride. And then the riff happened. I played the riff and then just sat in bed and wrote it. Well, about half of it, and then we finished it together. So that was kind of,
Yeah.
that was that.
It was a quick song that came around,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
It was just before we were going into the studio to record, and it was like they offer this. That seems to be a thing with us. We'll like book some like recording sessions, and then within like the last 3 weeks of running up to that, when we're really not supposed to be writing any more songs, we'll just like half do an idea well quick, and then we're like, we need to record this.
That one needs recording. Yeah, it nearly didn't make the cut.
Yeah, like they're never finished. They're just like,
Yeah.
we need to record this idea.
I've been asking myself questions, like how you were there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've
Definitely.
used a lot of new toys already.
Turning a lot of knobs, Alex. Lots of them.
So there's this thing called a copycat, which Mickey, our producer, has, and like, it's an old tape delay thing, and you literally just go like that, and it makes some crazy sounds. But it's so fun. We're all like, my go, and you just go like, woo woo.
It's kind of fun because you're recording
Sorry,
an
is
Is that
instrument
noise?
through like whatever toy you're using. There's always like the performer, like the guy who's playing the instrument, or the girl, but not in this band. And then there's the kind of the knob twiddler. There's someone else laying on the floor or like standing at a desk manipulating the idea on the fly as we go. So it's quite exciting way of capturing weird sounds.
We've also spent a lot more time, probably like, actual song structure and parts wise than usual. We're probably usually going what we've got, record it, but we really ripped them apart when we started, and I think the songs are a lot better for it. So we did spend a lot more time like drilling each of the parts and stuff. So that was good. Well, not good when we were doing it because everyone going, don't play that. But you're like, I like it. And I'm like, well, it's not good enough. And then, we like to push each other because then you get the best stuff you can get.
I'll shut my ears and face my fears, because I started.
It definitely has an impact, I think. Just like insofar as you'll be listening to something and like a point of a song or some production-y stuff or something will jump out and you'll be like, that would work really well on this. Like if you've got a song that's in a kind of similar vein, you can often be like, I really like what they did with that vocal at that point of the song, and then you kind of like bear it in mind and then try ideas out in that kind of way.
I kind of avoid music so that I'm not influenced too hard by stuff. I'm very against potentially copying someone else's idea. So it's very, well, obviously none of us want to copy someone else's idea, but I'm very kind of like...
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, so I try and avoid stuff, especially stuff that's in our similar genres. I might end up listening to classical music.
Kay listens to an
something.
album about 4 years after it's come out.
Arctic Monkeys, I haven't listened to the latest album yet. I need
Yeah,
to
he
wait a
likes
couple
to,
more years.
He likes to just
Let
leave
it
it.
breathe.
Let everyone's opinions on it dissipate, and then he'll come in with his.
Yeah, I love Sex on Fire by Kings of Leon. That is such a tune.
Such a banger. Fresh
Such a
banger.
banger.
Sounds so new.
Don't listen to the radio, because then you'll love it.
I think the most obvious that listening to something has influenced us is when we were writing Suburbs. It was originally called Country Jam on our phone because we were listening to country and we just kind of pissed about a bit. And yeah, it was called Country Jam, and then that became Suburbs. Got this boy a slide, learned how to play it, and then yeah, it was like it kind of got
simple slide part I could figure out. That'll do.
like it gets less country throughout the song, but like
There
the
is
start
a
of
trend,
it.
like with us, whatever the influence for the original idea is, like we'll go in pretty hard on that influence to start with, and then because we're like a indie band, we tend to just kind of rein each other
Yeah,
back
yeah.
a bit and be like, no, you can't do that. It sounds a bit like a joke, and then eventually it sounds like us. But yeah, Country Jam probably would have been a lot more country jam.
Arms of Another as well. That was like
That was a house record.
house, and like we started and it was so shit, and we were like, what the hell are we doing here? And then like it just kind of peeled it back a bit, and then we're like, right, how would we do it? And
Yeah.
then
It's
do
basically
that.
like,
All right, here we go.
let's put like real drums on it and try and like, you know, like because the main element of that song was this kind of keyboard riff thing. We kind of tried really hard to make that into something that sounded like what we were doing, and I think eventually we just took it away from the song, wrote like the song, and then brought it back in.
Yeah.
And then it sounded like a guitar band again. I don't know where we're going with this.
No, we're just having a nice
Just
chat,
chatting,
Rob. We're just having a nice
bro.
chat, aren't we?
We gotta work for it. We gotta work for it.
We've got a clearer idea than we did. We did quite an intense whittling down process. We had a lot of songs, and now we've still got a lot of songs, but not as many.
There's a path, isn't there? There's a path
Yeah.
it can go down, but like there's a basic genre there. If you were to try and label it, but like it could still. We're only part of the way through it. There's loads of glossy things to add to it and manipulate it to make it sound, how we want it to.
I'd say right now we could kind of have 3 albums out of it that would do very different jobs, but it'd still be the same,
So there's a big messy conversation and some sweaty playing to get through to decide where it's going to end up.
I've already got the track listing on my phone, so that's fine.
He's got the bloody artwork in his head already.
Yeah, he's gonna have a really bad time when he presents it all to the group. And
We all
go,
say, "No."
No. That's basically how bands work.
I'll show you it later. It's great.
You got me caught in a dream, stuck in a love where it all seems too good.
Oh.
You're obviously going to do a Beatles one.
Yeah, I'm just trying to pick which one.
That in its own right. is difficult.
Maroon 5, songs about Mary.
Mary.
Jane.
You love that
Joanna.
Like, it's not-
Cassandra.
You can't even say. You can't even know the name of the
know
album.
the
You'd
name of
say.
the
Songs about Barry.
Songs about Barry.
Songs about Barry.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Revolver by the Beatles. It's gonna be Abbey Road, but
This
I've got a copy of that.
this is
inside it.
unfair. I can't do this.
You've
You
cheated on
can't
Abbey Road.
just do it.
All right. The second Bon Iver record, because it's a bit of a warm bath. It always makes me feel better.
That's nice. Taste it.
Oh, it's difficult, isn't it?
He's gonna go Lord.
No, that's a good shout.
Oh, that
actually.
second Lord record.
Actually,
Just
could be.
absolutely slap.
Yeah, it is.
I was either going to say that
That's an Ollie.
or Bombay's first album.
Banger.
No, it does bang.
I had the Blues but I Shook 'em Loose, which is a good album title. I'll go for that.
Poor Lord.
Bombay.
What would yours be?
Boom.
Oh, I don't like
Take
the
that.
pressure. Take that. I
Take
don't.
that.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
It's terrible.
Oh, it would either be an Arctic Monkeys record or an Interpol album.
Oh,
I'm a massive Interpol
big
fan.
Interpol fan.
Again, a Paul fan, right?
Yeah, go turn on the bright lights in it.
Yeah, that is a banging album.
Never heard of it.
Right,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Thank
Oh,
you.
Thanks,
thank
Alex.
you.